terrible at.
Oh, you better get a hold of her.
I know. I'll do that after services today. Actually, that's fine.
That would be neat, before she talks.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's right. How close is she?
Before we record.
Okay. When is she due?
I think that's what this is, but I don't know.
But still, I mean, it gets different.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who?
Boker Tov. So before we begin services this morning, we see a couple people still coming in. We're just going to take a nice moment for those of you who are joining us, especially those connected to the Schlesinger and Price families. We're just going to invite up Rabbi Larry Schlesinger for a special moment to really give we'll begin service in just a few minutes to invite Rabbi Ford with his grandson Binya to have a nice special moment together. Thank you. So you can be either side of the bima, so we can see whichever side you prefer.
Binya, why don't you come over here? Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Larry Schlesinger, and this is my grandson, Benjamin Price. And I have a very special presentation to make to you. Now, as a rabbi, over the decades, I have collected a number of Tallitot, a number of Tallit. But this one is my favorite. And the reason it's my favorite is because my grandfather, Morris Berman, and that would be grandma or your great-grandma's father, so it's your great-great-grandfather, he gave me this Tallit on the occasion of my bar mitzvah, which was 57 and a half years ago in 1964. And, Rabbi Jason last night asked us, what are those things that are of special meaning, to you that you have? And the first thing that came to mind to me was this Tallit. Because it's gone everywhere that I've gone. It accompanied me to college, and then to rabbinic school. And then, throughout the decades of what were 40 years of service to Reformed congregations, primarily in the South. And today, it's now my turn to be the grandfather and give you something that I hope will be meaningful to you throughout your lifetime. Because, you and I have talked, and you and I worked together to prepare for this day, and that was a blessing to me. But becoming a bar mitzvah really means that you are starting the great adventure of life. Now, when I was your age and standing here, I had no idea that I was going to go to rabbinic school or, serve congregations. So you don't exactly know where life's going to take you either at this point. But wherever it does, it is a great, great adventure. And I'm sort of envious of you because you're starting it, at this point. So I want to give you something that, I hope is going to be meaningful to you throughout the years. And that is this Tallit that you actually picked out. But it's my pleasure to give that to you. So let's join together with the blessing over the Tallit. I want you to take this everywhere you go from now on. Let it become just as meaningful to you as this one is to me. And if you want to recite the blessing with me together, we say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, b'tzivanu lehitatef batzitzi. Blessed art thou, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us to wrap ourselves in the Tallit. This is a very special moment for me. Do great things. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rabbi. We'll be started in just a moment. As people just arrived, we'll get a chance to settle in. And we thank you for beginning our beautiful morning together. For those of you joining online, we'll just take 30 seconds as we settle in. We encourage you to find yourself on our Shabbat website. On our Shabbat website, there is a link to a flip book where you can get our prayer book and you can join with us as well for this beautiful morning. So just take a few moments to find your Shabbat place. We'll get ourselves settled and ready to go up here. And after this beautiful beginning of our service, we'll continue with song in just a moment. Boker Tov, good morning. That was something. We can try that again. Boker Tov, good morning. There we go. All right. This beautiful morning, beautiful Shabbat morning. I'm Rabbi Jason Levine with Rabbi Dana Benson. We thank Carol for her beautiful music and piano. We thank TF as one of our shamashim this morning, and Diana, who was still out as our door-to-door greeter. Brendan and Shane for their help at tech this morning, and for all of you joining in person, for all of you joining online, for making this beautiful Shabbat morning as our whole community joins together to pray, to sing, to dance, to learn, for some to mourn, for others to celebrate. Whatever your reason for being here, whatever emotion you bring in, let's just take a nice time to be together. We are going to begin with music this morning, as well we should, with Ma Tovu, which I believe is on page 74. All right, page 74. Ma Tovu Ohalecha Yaakov. How lovely are your tents, your dwelling places, O Jacob, and how lovely our tents are when they're air conditioned. So even with COVID guidelines, feel free to hang out in this building for a bit longer today if you need to. Actually, I should just say separate and a non-joke. There is a member of our community who's opening her home to people who are elderly or ill who don't have air conditioning. So if you actually know someone, please get in contact with the rabbis. Someone did reach out to me to offer their home as a cooling center. But our house is beautiful because we are together. Let's sing to begin our morning with Ma Tovu.
Oh, hallelujah. משכן כבודך, ואני אשתחווה ואכרע אברך לפני אדוני עושי, אדוני עושי. מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו, מה טובו, אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. משכנותיך ישראל.
We continue together on page number 80, the Sim B'chol Yom, our daily blessings. It's an honor to call up Shelley Cohen, representing our community, to lead us in our prayers over the next few pages, beginning again on page number 80.
Shabbat Shalom. It is a blessing. There we go.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
It's a blessing to see you all here, and we're just going to continue with recitation of a few more blessings on pages 80, 82, and 84. We'll join together in the first 6 words of each blessing in the Hebrew, and then it's my custom to continue in Hebrew, but you're welcome to finish each blessing in either the Hebrew or the English, as is comfortable for you. And when we get to page 84 and there's prayers about identity, please use what works for you. So here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sichvi bina lehavchin ben yom uven laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten layayef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir shana me'enai utnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani bat chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara. And it's our custom here at Temple Beth Am to add each of us one more prayer that comes from our hearts. So we'll start together and then each finish with your own prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Chacham Harazim.
Thank you, Shelley. Those first few songs and prayers and moments of joy meant to wake us up, to prepare us for services together or in person at home. We continue on page 108, Baruch Hu, the start of our morning prayers. Whether you're at home or in person, if it's your custom to rise and you're able to do so, please rise as we face east and begin our morning prayers with Baruch Hu.
Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da.
For those who are standing, please be seated. We continue with Yotzer Or on page 110. It's my honor to invite up Binya Price, who becomes bar mitzvah in our community this morning, to lead us in prayer at this time. Oh, you're right there.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer or uvarei choshech, Osei shalom uvarei et hakol, Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim, Aleha barachamim, Uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid, Ma'aseh bereshit, Marabu ma'asecha Adonai, Kulam bechochma asita, mal'aha aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or sha'asita, yifarucha sela, or chadash al Sion ta'ir, v'nizkeh kulanu mehera le'orod, Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hamarot.
We continue together with page 112.
Ahava rabba ahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chem lakedolav yitera, Chamalta aleinu, ba'avur avoteinu, ve'imoteinu, Shabbat chuvecha, avoteinu ve'imoteinu, v'atilamdeinu kechayin, kein techonenu tlamdeinu, Hamerachem, Rachem aleinu, V'ten b'libeinu lehavin ol haskil, Lishmo al yilmod ulilamed, Talmud Torah techa b'ahava. V'ha'er einenu b'torah techa. V'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha. V'yachel levavenu l'ahava u'yira et shemecha. V'lo nevosh, v'lo nikalem, v'lo nikashel, le'olam va'ed, ki b'shem k'odshcha, hagadol v'hanara b'tachnu, nagila v'nismecha, nagila v'nismecha b'shuatecha, v'havienu l'shalom, me'arba kanfot haaretz, v'tolichenu komemiyut, komemiyut le'artzenu, ki el poel Yeshua tata, uvanu b'charta, v'keraftanu l'shimcha hagadol, sela sela be'emet, lehodot lecha, u'leyachelcha be'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai, haboher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava.
Thank you so much, Benya, for leading so beautifully. Wonderful job. We continue now with the words of the Shema, the watchword of our faith. They can be found on page 114, and they remind us to listen. And we are in that period of time where the shofar is being blown regularly each day as we get closer and closer and closer to the High Holy Days. And so I think all of us, as we approach those moments, could take a little more time just to listen, to be present with ourselves. And so if it is your custom, I invite you to rise for the Shema as we take this moment together. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And now it's my honor to invite Benya back up to lead us in the Haftarah, which can be found on the next page 116.
Please be seated.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shnuktecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uv'shuchbecha uv'ekumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letofafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tiskeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiyot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem emet. Beautifully done, Binya. You can take a seat for a minute, because we are going to turn to a couple pages down the way to page 122 for our words of Mihamoha, our song of freedom, our song of joy. And okay, it's a pandemic still, so we're not gonna do our full dance thing, but I see a lot of, hello everyone, I see a lot of younger faces in our crew here tonight, in our kahal, in our community. Can you guys help us dance today? Can you help bring the energy? I'm looking at you, Ethan. All right, so everyone join with us as we sing Mihamoha. If it's your custom to dance, dance in your seats. And those at home, do whatever you want. You're in your own home, enjoy and dance. Mihamoha. I don't know about you, Rabbi Jason and Vinya, but now I'm feeling the energy of this community after those words and prayers. Indeed.
We continue with the next section of our service, our Amidah, which begins on page 124. It is an honor to invite the Binya once again to continue leading us in prayer. For those in person or those at home, if it is your tradition to rise for the Amidah, we welcome you to do so at this time.
Adonai sefatayv tifsach ufi agite hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Ve'Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Koneh Hakol ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Morid HaTal, Mehalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Mihamoha Ba'al Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman Atal Hiyot Hakol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mehayeh HaKol.
Continue with kiddush, page 30.
Nikadesh b'shimcha ulam, Keshem shemakdishim אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מאדיר שמך לכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ורחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Page 134, Kedushat Hayom.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, ritzeh b'minuchatenu, ka'adshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'ten chelkenu b'toratecha, sabenu mituvecha, v'samchenu b'yeshuatecha, v'taher libeinu לעבדך באמת וחנכילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך וינחו בת ישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
We continue now in a moment of silent prayer. If you choose to use the words in the prayer book, it is through page 142. Or just take this moment, whatever prayers, whatever meditations emanate from your own heart. Once you've completed this private moment, we invite you to be seated. We continue with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our service for the reading of Torah. which begins on page 246. We'll be doing our Torah reading this morning. In just a moment, I'll invite up Raina Abraham, representing our community, in just a moment, to offer a reading to represent how Torah is passed down, not just from parents and grandparents, but Torah is transmitted from our whole community to our young leaders, and our community is part of Torah as much as our Torah is part of it. We'll then invite up our parents and grandparents as we pass the Torah down from generation to generation. So I'd like to invite Raina forward to offer a reading to begin our Torah service.
We thank God for the gift of Torah and for the wondrous opportunity to share it with a new generation. Today, you ensure the continuation of the legacy of Moses and Miriam, who first taught Torah to our people. As we prepare to hand the Torah to you now, it is our hope that just as you will carry it in your hands today, you will carry it within your heart always, as a perpetual expression of faith in God and commitment to your people.
Thank you, Raina.
Raina, also our amazing youth learning and engagement manager. So thank you, Raina. It's now an honor to call up Binya's parents and grandparents as we pass the Torah down from generation to generation. For those in the community who are able to do so, please rise.
Page 248. We join with Binya in the words of Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
I'd like to invite up Dov, Binya's brother, to help us undress the Torah.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim.
Please be seated.
This week we read from Parsha Shoftim, and you'll hear a little bit from it in a moment. Amongst the different laws and pieces that are in this section, we do get to read about magic, which you'll hear a little bit more about later. We also get to hear about the different ways that kings should act and judges should act including that they should not amass wealth or slaves or servants, but rather they should be humble. I think these are still things our leaders could learn from today. And so it is my honor now to invite up Binya, who's going to share with us a bit of chanting of his Torah portion. So come on up, Binya. And so it is my honor to invite up Binya's godparents. There you go. Yep, you take that. To be able to offer the Aliyah blessing, the blessing over the Torah for him today. Come on up, friends.
If you'd like to follow along as well, if for those of us here in person, there's a big blue book to the seats in front of you, or a Maxorim. Binya will be reading first Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 9 through 13, which begins on page 1465. That's a lot of numbers. Page 1465. For those of you joining at home, there's a link on our Shabbat website to Sefaria, a Jewish library, which will get you right to our Shabbat reading for today. So again, in the big books, page 1465, and if you want to follow along for the Torah blessings themselves, they're back in the prayer book on page 250.
Ya'amdu David ben Yaakov Michael ben Shmuel Aliyah Rishonah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'chavanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki ata ba'el ha'aretz asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach el tiamad la'asot ketoavot hagoyim ha'hem lo yimatzeh v'cha ma'avir beno uvito ba'esh kosem kesamim me'onen u'menachesh u'mechashev v'chover chaver v'shewel of v'idoni v'deresha ha'metim kito avat Adonai kolosele u'viglol ha'toevot ha'eleh Adonai Elohecha, Morisho Tami Panecha, Tamim Tehiyeh, Im, Adonai Elohecha.
Yasher Koach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam notah b'tocheinu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And now, if you want to give them a sacred fist bump or a hug, since they are your godparents, there we go, or an elbow.
Dude.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Sacred elbow bump.
Rock chalk.
Beautiful. And so, yes, I'll invite you to stand over here by me. And now I get to invite up Danielle and Michael, the parents of Binya today, to stand by his side as we call him to bar mitzvah.
Daniel will be continuing with chapter 18, verses 14 through 18, page 1466. 1466.
And I'll have the honor now to invite up Binya to do the Aliyah blessing as a bar mitzvah for the first time. Hakol havu godel Eloheinu utnu kavod leTorah ya'amod habar mitzvah Binyamin ben Michael v'Daniel le'aliyah shniya.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki hagoyim ha'eleh asher ata yoresh Beshotam, El Monanim, Ve'el Kosmim, Yishma'u, Ve'ata, Lochein, Natan, Lecha, Adonai Elohecha, Navi, Mikirbecha, Me'achecha, Kamoni, Yakim Lecha, Adonai Elohecha, Elav Tishma'un, Kecho Asher She'alta, Me'im Adonai Elohecha, Bechorev, Beyom HaKahal, Lemor, Lo, Osef, Lishmoa, Et Kol, Adonai Elohai, Vetaish, Hagedolah, Hazot, Lo Erod, Velo Amut, Vayomer Adonai, Eli, Heitivu, Asher Diberu, Navi, Akim, Lahem, Mikerev Achechem, Kamocha, Vinatati, Devarai, Befib, Bidiber Alehem, Et, Kol Asher Atzavenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. You can be seated. Thank you so much. And now, with the Torah in our midst, we have an additional blessing, of course, that should be offered over you, Binya, and that is a blessing from your parents. And so I'm going to invite you to stand and face them as they offer their words, their hopes, their blessing over you today.
All right, come a little closer. Benjamin, we are all so very proud of you. It wasn't easy preparing for your bar mitzvah in this pandemic, especially with your mom being your tutor. But we got by with love and a little help from our friends here in Seattle and from afar. We started this magical mystery tour of parenthood 13 years ago, and you are now an adult in the eyes of the Jewish community. And we truly believe that you are waiting for this moment to arise.
You are hardworking, enjoy a challenge, and never give up. You're an amazing musician, an incredible writer, a hilarious comedian, and a talented artist. And I know Dove would say, the coolest big brother. You're kind, thoughtful, and genuinely care about others around you. You are a mensch. We wish you the best on your journey through life. Your journey will be tough at times, and you will make mistakes. Just know that throughout your journey, you are not and will never be alone. You have a loving mishpacha, family, loving chavarim and chavarot, friends, and a loving kahila, community. Here for you in the best of times and the worst of times. We are here for you and cheering for you every step of the way. In hard times, we all will make your troubles feel so far away. We all love you.
You are intelligent, poo-poo-poo, loving, poo-poo-poo, a doer, poo-poo-poo, and a dreamer, poo-poo-poo. And we know that you're going to continue to make a difference and accomplish great things in this world. We wish only the best for you. When it comes down to it, all you need is love. Love is all you need. And maybe a dog or 2 or 3.
Yasher Koach, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you, Danielle and Michael. Yes, be seated. Doing a beautiful job as well. You can be seated. Only 3 dogs? Is that what you guys stopped? Okay. For now.
We take this moment, while the Torah is still in the midst of our community, for a prayer for healing. As the Torah symbolizes strength and continuity, so do we use this blessing to wish strength and blessing for each other, to help those who are ill, those who struggle, those who wrestle. We, of course, think of all those in this trying moments who are still being impacted by the COVID pandemic. We think of all those who are still giving life-saving care and support. We think of all those who struggle on a daily basis with whom they are, who have to fight simply for who they love, the color of their skin, where they're from, or how they pray. We think of all those in their own lives who are ill, who need prayers for healing. If you're joining us at home, we would invite you to add names to our chat. For those of you joining in person, we invite you to share names out loud at this time. Page 253. We sing and pray together.
Mi shebeirach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of spirit, and blessed Amen.
As we read from Torah, we get to learn more deeply about its meanings and its values as we invite Binya Price to offer a Dvar Torah, our teaching of Torah. I'd like to remind our community here or at home that instead of applauding after he's done, we can say Yasher Koach, we can say or type Yasher Koach, or Kol HaKavod, which means well done, as I know it will be. It's an honor to learn from the Torah from Mr. Binya Price.
Before I moved to Seattle, I lived in Lawrence, Kansas. When I was living there, my parents used to take me to the Busker Festival. During this festival, all of downtown Lawrence was filled with all sorts of street shows and street performers, jugglers, musicians, acrobats, magicians, and more. The street magicians were my favorite. I always stopped to watch their shows because I think magic is fascinating. This week's Torah portion is Shoftim, which is Hebrew for judges. In Shoftim, Moses explains to the Israelites how to set up a fair and just judicial system. He discusses all sorts of things with the Israelites, such as how kings should act, how leaders should act, and even what to do when someone comes in peace and what to do if they do not. And one of the most famous lines in all of Torah, Moses stressed, Tzedek, Tzedek tirdof, or justice, justice you shall pursue. The most interesting law that I found was the one where it is forbidden to be an augur, a soothsayer, a diviner, a sorcerer, one who casts spells, or one who consults with ghosts or familiar spirits, or one who inquires with the dead. That is, the Israelites are not allowed to do magic. This got me thinking, why would the Israelites not be allowed to do magic? This prohibition stood out to me because I think magic is pretty cool. It is a weird prohibition because magic seems to appear throughout the Torah before this. For example, when Moses and Aaron talk to Pharaoh to tell him to let the Israelites go, Aaron turns his staff into a snake. Pharaoh's magicians then turn their staffs into snakes, which to their surprise end up getting eaten by Aaron's snake. And what about the plagues? Doesn't Moses magically turn the Nile River into blood with his own staff? When the Israelites wandered the desert, doesn't Moses magically get water for the Israelites to spring from a rock when he hits it? I wondered for a long time why there was a reason to forbid magic for the Israelites during this time. After a long discussion with my dad, I came to the conclusion that doing magic may violate 2 of the 10 commandments. The first commandment it violates is, you shall not lie. I thought this because performing illusions is like lying with your actions, but you are fooling people's eyes and minds or lying to them. The second commandment is, you shall not worship another god, which sounds weird, but a long time ago, people believed that if you could do magic, you were a god, or at least pretending to be a god. In fact, the scholar Ismar Shorsh states, the repudiation of magic reflects a profound theological shift from a plethora of subordinate deities to a single supreme God. I think this means that if an Israelite performs magic, then they might be believed to be a deity or a god. But in Judaism, we only have one God. I think that things are different today. A lot of magic is for entertainment, and most people understand that they are seeing illusions. So is it really a lie now, and is the magician considered to be a god? When my mom and many others performed illusions in the 2018 Harry Potter Purim spiel, were they considered to be gods? I don't think so. They used magic to make people happy and to get them to laugh. Today, we are more aware of how stuff works in this universe, and we better understand that magicians are performing illusions, and magicians don't have divine powers. The Union for Reform Judaism states, Reform Judaism sees the Torah as a living document that enables us to confront the timely changes of our everyday lives. We should apply this when we are trying to understand the laws and texts that appear in the Torah, such as this week's parsha on magic. Remember that the kavanah, or intention, that the person has is the most important part when considering magic is allowed or forbidden. We know that magic can be good, fun, and entertaining, but it can also be bad. Let me tell you some examples of how magic can be used in a bad way by taking advantage of volunteers and fans. First, if you ask someone to give you money for a magic trick, They will probably expect to get their money back if you make it disappear. However, if you don't give them their money back, I feel like that is stealing, and that is, of course, breaking one of the 10 Commandments. Second, if you had super fans who worshipped you, you could just be like, hey, I will shake your hand for $5,000. I mean, it would be awesome for someone to pay you $5,000 to shake your hand, but I don't think that is just. I think it's basically robbing someone. The kavanah, or intention of these people, is bad. I think that is what God was worried about. God was worried about Israelites with bad intentions set on pulling people away from God. Magicians aren't the only ones who attempt to perform magic. Everyday people who believe in superstitions also try to perform magic. Superstitions are practices that are done with a belief in magic. They also appear in some of my Jewish family's traditions. My great-grandmother always says, poo, 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 after a compliment. And poo, poo, poo is Yiddish for spit, spit, spit. She might say, oh, you are so smart, as my mom said, and then immediately say poo, poo, poo after. This is pretty much her way of protecting good things and loved ones in her life by warding off evil and preventing misfortune to strike. Her kavanah, or intention, is one of love. So my great-grandmother can continue to poo-poo-poo all she wants. Because I know she is doing it out for love for those of us around her. I think her kavanah, or her intention, is a good one for all of us to have. We should take some time to look at our kavanot, or our intentions, and make sure we are doing things out for love for those of us around us. And when you are deciding to do something, think about whether your intention is to hurt someone or something, or treat someone unfairly. We should always act with a good intention, and we should practice tzedek, or justice, to make our world a better place. Yeah, that's it.
Yasher koach. Yasher koach. Beautiful.
Yasher koach. We continue on page 252, and from there we'll make a quick switch over to page 256 as we lift our Torah, dress it, and return it to the ark. I'd like to invite up Binya's godfather Dave to help lift our Torah, and his brother Dov and godfather Mike to help dress the Torah. I'd also like to invite up Dov's aunt, uncle, and cousins, Richard, Jamie, Gracie, and Pack, to open the ark as we return the Torah. For those who are able to rise, please do so as the Torah is lifted, dressed, and returned.
Ya'amdu hamagbia v'hagolel. Oh, not yet. Hold on. It's all right. Almost. Vezot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Yehalelu et Shem Adonai ki nishkav lishmo levado. Hodo al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Ki lekach tov natati lahem torati ta'azovu. Etz chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tor Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chodesh Chodesh Yameinu Chodesh Yameinu Kekedem.
We continue with our Haftarah, a reading from the prophets. You can follow along if you so choose. In the prayer booklet, the Siddur, the blessings are on page 254. And in the Chumash, the bigger book, it is page 1609. Binny will be reading today from Isaiah chapter 52, verses 1 through 3. We are still in the 7 weeks after Tisha B'Av, the saddest day of the Jewish calendar, and it's the tradition that the 7 weeks that follow have an uplifting or positive message to the Haftarah, and Isaiah speaking to a people recently exiled, giving them hope and trust in God once again. Binya, I invite you to come forward. Again, the blessings, page 254, and the reading on page 1609.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Habocher Batorah Uvmoshe Avdo Uv'Yisrael Amo Uv'Nvi'eh Ha'emet V'Tzedek. Uri Livshi Uzech Zion Livshi B'nei Tifartech Yerushalayim Ir HaKodesh Kilo Yosif Yavovach Od Arel V'Tamei Hitna Ari Me'afar Kumi Shevi Yerushalayim Hitpatchi Mosrei Tzavarei Shevia Batzion Kicho Amar Adonai Chinam Nimkartem Velo Bechesef Tigaelu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haolamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayem shechol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al nevim ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha u'menucha Lechavod tifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umvrachim otach, yitbarach shimcha, befikol chaitam milelam vaed, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Amen. Yasher Kol. And now, Binya, I'm going to have you stand right there, beautiful, as Rabbi Jason and I get to offer you our own blessings today. Now, Binya, it's been a pleasure and a delight to work with you, and you have been on this journey for far longer than just the past few years. Judaism and Jewish life have been part of your heritage, quite literally, but also you've had the amazing opportunity to just be in so many spaces and learn. You're a witty young man. There's no doubting you are sharp, you are funny, you are smart. And although sometimes a little quiet, when you pull out one of those good one-liners, it's a zinger. You are an incredible, incredible older brother to Dov. You take such good care of him. Your kindness, your patience, your calm energy, your non-anxious presence is a gift not only to your family, to your friends, but so many others. As you continue forward in your journey of Jewish life, I hope you continue to hone those skills, to continue to grow your knowledge, but continue, most of all, like your mom and dad said, to be a mensch. We offer this threefold blessing of our tradition, the priestly benediction over you this day, that dates back to our ancestors, and we hope that will offer you blessing and light and love as you go forward. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha.
May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's presence be with you all moments of your life's journey, now and always grant you peace.
Amen. Can you hear that sound?
May it be God's will. Mazel tov, Binya. Mazel tov. Job well done. You can be seated if you want. We move towards the conclusion of our service on page 282. Page 282 at the top of the page for Aleinu Deshabeach. For those who are able to rise, please do so. 282, the top of the page.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gdula leotzer breshit, shehu note shamayim veyosed haaretz, umoshav yekarov hashamayim mima'al, ushchinat uzo begovhei meromim, hu Eloheinu ein hod. Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu ve'ne'emar ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Vayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. We continue on page 294. Even in the midst of our Shabbat celebration, we take time for a prayer of memory, thinking of all those of generations present and generations past who gave us strength, who gave us love, who helped us reach where we are right now. Binya and his family, even on this joyous day, are remembering these loved ones. His great-great-great-grandparents, Jenny and Charlie Shofnos, his great-great-grandparents, Bessie and Hyman Schlesinger, great-great-grandparents, Francis and Morris Berman, great-grandfather Norman Schlesinger, great-great-grandparents Kate and Irving Simons, great-grandparents Eleanor and Donald Simmons, grandfather Mike Price, Uncle Matty Simmons, and Jerry Littman. And we in our community are remembering these loved ones. We in the Pir the Shiva, the 7 days of mourning for Yaakov Naor, husband of Ellen, father of Tali and Ayel, brother of Yisrael, Rina and Zvika, father-in-law of Rob and Maria, grandfather of Rachel, Joseph, and Daniel, grandfather-in-law of Hari, David Katz, husband of Karen, father of Rob and Dan, brother of Martha, Judith, and Jeanette, nephew of Wilma, father-in-law of Clara and Veronica, grandfather of Ilan, Armand, Rosa, and Jeannie Louise. We were in the Pir the Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning, for Richard Merrick, brother of AJ, Ingrid Gordon, mother of Jillian, mother-in-law of Todd, grandmother of Alex, Trevor, and Kira, and my uncle Alan Meyer. We observed the yard site, the anniversary of passing of Catherine Reedy Bachman, mother of Josie Roskin, Fanny Block, grandmother of Leah Vetter, Inga Bolin, mother of Sven, mother-in-law of Amy, Arnold Book, uncle of Howard Simon, Sophia Brzezinskaya, grandmother of Annette Sabbath, great-grandmother of Philip, Herman Bucksbaum, father of Henry Butler, Aviva Crown, mother of Julie Betton, Ain Dalgoff, friend of Temple Beth Am, Ron Duncan, grandfather of Nathan Addison, Betty Frank, grandmother of Alicia Teeter, Isaiah Freed, father of Elaine Steinberg, Betty Friedman, friend of Mary Siegel Parmley, Philip Garber, brother of Malcolm, Alan Gassner, father of Nellie Elnut, Stephen Janofsky, grandfather of Amanda, Louis Guderson, father of Lisa Braverman, father-in-law of Steve, grandfather of Benjamin, Eliza Hadass, mother of Azza, Louise Hassan, sister-in-law of Joanne, aunt of Jonathan and Ariel, Paul Jasny, father of David, Ralph Levy, father of Phyllis, Patrick McVicker Whalen, husband of Margot, Helen Jo McNeil, mother of Casey, Lottie Meyer, mother of Olga Butler, Charles Mintz, grandfather of Benjamin Gladstein, Frederick Palmer, father of Yella Etlinger, Carolyn Richard, friend of Temple Beth Am, Helen Rosen, grandmother of Shelley, William Rosen, grandfather of Shelley, Paula Schwartzreich, mother of Arlene Rogozin, Anna Saltzman Siegel, great-grandmother of David Bennett, Gail Shapiro, mother of Evan, grandmother of Gabrielle and Alec, Louis Shivitz, father of Kenneth, grandfather of Daniel and Stacy, Irving Silver, father of Louise Chernin, Stanley Simon, father of Howard, grandfather of Noah, Ruby, and Oscar, Michael Raleigh Thompson, father of Kelly Rigoti, John Tice, father of Larry, Bernard Tonkin, uncle of Janet Bogich, Stephen Titel, father of Brad, father-in-law of Meg, George Wachtyn, father of Sonia Spear, Warren Stark Wolkenberg, uncle of Mark Miller. If any names have been mispronounced or should be included, we invite you, for those joining online, to add them to the chat. For those who've been joining them in person, we welcome you to share their names out loud at this time. We also add the names, the victims of gun violence in Plymouth, England. If you were in the first 7 days of mourning, we invite you to rise. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning, you're invited to rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, you're invited to rise. If you're observing a yard site on this Shabbat, you're welcome to rise. If it is your tradition to rise in love and solidarity, we welcome you to do so as we join the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitkedal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. B'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam almei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yithalei v'yithalal. Shemei de Kudasha Barichu, Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. Yoshvei tevel, all who dwell on the earth. Please be seated. One last thing for you, Binya. On behalf of our clergy and our board, we present you these gifts of a Kiddush cup to continue your Shabbat celebration at home, and this book of blessings to continue to be a blessing for all in our community. And know that, as your father mentioned, you'll never be alone. We look forward to joining you on the next stages of your Jewish journey and continuing to grow as a leader in our Jewish community. So on behalf of our clergy and our board, Mazel Tov. You can be seated. I want to again thank Carol and TF and Diana and all of you and Brendan and Shane for a beautiful Shabbat morning. I encourage you to go to our website. Our High Holiday page is live. There's a lot of things happening, especially during our month of Elul. Every day at noon, you can join with Shelley Cohen and do the Applebaum for learning. And I haven't been joined yet, but I know what they've been based it off of, and it's remarkable learning. So I encourage you, even if on a little lunch break, to join for a quick 30 minutes of Zoom learning from 12 to 12:30. And there's a lot more happening, so check out our website. And because it's special, I encourage you also to look down and enjoy our brand new carpet, installed for the first time in almost 30 years. I love it. I think it's lovely.
It's lovely.
It's lovely carpet.
It's lovely.
And as I said last night, the nice thing is if we happen to spill, you just remove one square and put a new one back down. It's great. It's what?
Yeah.
The rough what?
The edges, so we don't fall off of the beam.
Oh, yeah, we added edges to this so we don't fall off the stairs. Yeah, that's a good thing, too. Okay, I want to turn it back over to Rabbi Dana for our closing song. If you may have noticed from Binya's mask or from Michael and Danielle's blessing, there is a little family theme going on, which I'll let Rabbi Dana continue to introduce for Adon Olam, found on page 321.
That's right. Thank you, Rabbi Jason. You may have noticed there was a little bit of Beatles love going on here today, and so we are continuing that theme as we continue with Adon Olam. I think you'll know the melody. Hey Jude. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra Leit Nasa B'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado imloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh betifara ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni Leham Shilo, lehachbira. Bli reshit, bli tachlit, ve'lo ha'oz, ve'ha'misra. Yai-da-dai-dai, yai-dai-dai-dai, Vehu Eli v'chai Goali v'tzur chevli ve'etzara vehu nisi umanos li menat kosi beyom ekra ve'yado afkid ruhi ve'edishan Shan ve'aira ve'im ruchi gaviati Adonai li ve'lo ira. Let me hear those yai-dai-dais. Yai-dai-dai-dai, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, V'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, Leit Nasa V'cheso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Da-da, yada, da-da, yada, da-da-da, yada-da, yada-da-da, yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da, Adon Olam.
Kiddush cup over there? To your right. To your right. Can you guys over there? That right. Kiddush cup over there. We close the blessings of Kiddush and Moti. I want to thank the Menorah family for making a beautiful challah, for being able to enjoy, to lead us up with. We also have two other wonderful challahs. So if anyone in our community would like a challah, is that cool? All right. Take a challah. Cool. We have a second one. Who wants a second challah? We have a second one for someone to enjoy. Great, take it off. Wonderful. So why don't we start? Page number 301, if you want the blessings. We join with Binya in the blessing over the wine.
Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri ha'olam.
L'chaim, take a sip. Let's take out this gorgeous challah. It was great. So you take out the challah. You can do that. You can take out the challah. Health rules also. I shouldn't touch it. There you go. We can't reach out to touch each other unless the people in your pod. But you can reach forward. You can reach the people near you. You can reach out, touch the challah nearby. But hold the challah. Hold the challah. You can hold the challah. You're going to be eating it. That's okay. As we conclude this morning with the words of Motzi, as we say, Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, b'tei avot.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And to you, our friends joining at home.
Take it away.
Thank you, Carol. We got some more of that. Yeah.
I love it.
The next set I'll transpose it.
Text me when you know something different. Perfect. I played all kinds of music. Thank you.
you have a great voice.
Oh, thank you.
That was amazing. You're like a jack of all trades.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I do what I love, right? Like,
You do it for the high holidays.
so I'm kind of like the cantorial soloist rabbi. It's really wonderful.
That's it, the jack of all trades.
It's such a pleasure because I know, well, each of us has our own favorite parts of the role. I really like playing, so it works out.
That's great.
I mean, when you have students this great, it's so easy to just. He was wonderful. He was so on point. I'm so proud of him. So Mazal, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
An honor and a pleasure to get to meet you.
Oh, yeah, you too.
Be part of this. It's a lot of fun. And well, can't say no to a Beatles request. Like,